What is good, everybody? Dynasty Life in the building. Got my partner, Hammer, in the building. Was that a better introduction, Hammer?
I like it. It was solid. I feel like the 5 minutes pushes it. Maybe if it was like 2 minutes, but I like
Well,
it overall.
the reason why I did 5 minutes is because you weren't on yet when I originally had started it. Otherwise, I probably just would have went right into it. But I was kind of waiting for you to hop on. Kevin in the building. What up, Kev? Always here. Love that you guys are pushing content this week. Stay aggressive. Yeah, I mean we are in the brink of it now. There's a lot of drafts are going on, a lot of questions. A lot of people had their drafts already, so they're asking questions. A lot of news, of course, that's coming out.
Ooh-wee.
We'll get into the Cooper Cup. Hammer actually has a share in
No,
Dynasty of Cooper
no.
Cup. So,
That hurts.
but
That hurt
I
my
mean,
soul.
we were talking Cooper Cup yesterday. We had a
Hmm.
little bit of Cooper Cup as he was one of my fades. I took a little bit of heat from a couple of people, I think, in the chat for fading Cooper Cup. But and then the news comes out today. So One Nation, what up? What's good, One Nation? Appreciate y'all for coming out. But yeah, any questions y'all got, throw in the chat. But yeah, let's talk about Cooper Cup, right? Obviously, the news came out today, re-aggravated, re-injured, whatever. The hammy. 30 years old. I was already at least kind of fading him with the ankle injury and coming back, and Stafford not being 100%, his arm issues, the offense possibly not being that good, the team not being that good. Does Stafford play the whole season? These are some of my original concerns, and then this news comes out today. So yeah, I mean, what do you think about it, Hammer? What's your take on it, especially as a Cooper Cup owner in Dynasty? I don't have any in redraft. Do you have any shares in redraft as well, or no? Okay.
No, so the concerning thing for me was he was already coming off the ankle injury. And I think we've seen this a bunch of times where if you're coming off some sort of lower leg injury, there are other things that can be affected by it. And this is prime example where we've seen a lot of guys that have calf injuries tear their Achilles or have foot injuries, mess up their ankle, like a plantar fascia for basketball guys. Like so we've seen this, and like you said, he is 30 years old, and I think the wear and tear of that monster season is starting to manifest itself. And even last season, I was actually just on the phone with Bagalan. We were kind of talking about it a little bit before the show, and he was even last season, the first 8 games, he was well on his way to repeating what he did in 2021. So I think the combination of all of that, obviously they made the Super Bowl run, so he played 3 extra games, whatever it was, 4 extra games,
Hmm.
plus going crazy. And he's so heavily targeted that I think just the wear and tear of that tremendous workload is starting to manifest itself. And also, to be honest, even before he had that monster season, he was a really good receiver, but he did have some injuries, on his body even before he kind of became a household name in 2021. So it's definitely upsetting for me. Cooper Kupp's been my guy since 2021 when I took him in our startup draft, and he kind of just catapulted me to the championship, and it's kind of made my team what it is. It's made my team relevant, and if you've had him in Dynasty for the last 2 or 3 years, he's been that dude. So it's really concerning, and we actually touched on this. I think either yesterday or a show before, but we touched on it where if what I did was I built my team so Cooper Kupp wasn't my number one receiver. If Cooper Kupp is your number one receiver, especially in Dynasty, now you're in big trouble because the Rams might not be that good. So I actually saw something that said that they would kind of slow play it. So you may not realistically or theoretically, hypothetically, you may not see him till week 3 or week 4. And by that time, you could be in trouble if he was your number one wide receiver. So to kind of tie it all into the fantasy perspective, obviously it's a big hit. And also, too, another kind of little sidebar is what's the re-injury risk when he does come back.
Hmm.
So that's
As
another
an older
level.
as an older player, yeah, and as a person who's had injuries, and it's the same fucking leg too. I think it's the left leg. Same leg. I think I sent out on Instagram one of the fantasy doctors came out and had a whole thing and showed, where it is that's injured, why he's concerned, and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kev, I agree with you here. This is something I brought up yesterday where, if they're not good and they're losing, maybe they do want to see Stetson Bennett, right? Maybe
Or they might trade Kupp.
Maybe they want to see what they have. Now, do they trade Kupp? I mean, with the contract and everything, I don't know during the season. I'm not sure what his contract looks like, so I might have to check that. But is that possible? Yes. But is he going to be healthy? Are we still going to be able to trust? Are we still going to be able to trust that? Like, this is when they start breaking down. Like, the signs are here. The signs are here, and now it's too late almost, right? We're very adamant on trading guys a year early or even 2 years early to just minimize the impact or the risk that you have on that player and the value that you can get for that player, because who's buying Cooper Kupp now, right? So
yeah. So really quick, Cooper Kupp is signed through 2026. However, there is a potential out after 2025 or 2024, after 2024.
Mm-hmm. But listen, we saw this already with Julio, right? And that's more recent, right? Started with the hammies and all that. Now we're seeing it, start with Kupp. Is it time? Is this the end? Well, I don't know. Is this the end? I don't know if I should be that steep, but is this like are these the signs that they're showing? He's showing us right now in the making.
Yeah, and as a big Cooper Kupp guy, like I said, he's been my guy for a while. He's been really awesome on my team. It's kind of hard to let that go, and I did put him on the trading block in the off season. Nobody really made any offers or anything, and I did have some offers last year during the season when he was hurt. But I just felt like, as my number 2, I felt comfortable with that versus whatever I was receiving in return with those offers. So, it's kind of one of those situations, like you said, now you are probably going to get 85 cents on the dollar. Last season, you're probably looking at 70, 60 cents on the dollar now, because the injuries are starting to pile up. And if he doesn't play, they have 17 games. If he doesn't play in 6, 7 of those games, maybe 8, maybe half the season again, then you're really talking about, he might not even be tradable at that point.
Yeah, I mean, in redraft, he's outside of my top 12 now. I can't. Is it safe to put him in the top 12? I mean, I already had him lower than a lot of people did just because of my concerns already. But now, like, he's outside of my top 12. I don't see how I can trust that or why I would want to take the chance on that. Like, for me, it just doesn't make sense with all the other guys that you can pick, you know?
Yeah, I would agree, and I even mentioned it on the previous episode that I'd rather have it even to make an even comparison to a veteran receiver who's a little bit older. I'd rather have Devontae Adams at this point than Cooper Kupp in redraft, maybe even in Dynasty, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is up? It's been a long time, man. It's been a long time. Appreciate you. Appreciate you coming through. Have you had any drafts yet, guys? Let us know. I mean, who have you guys taken? What kind of redrafts have you done? We are still looking for 2 more. I think we need in our
2. Yep.
second follower league. We're making a dynasty follower league. We don't have much time left. We need 2 more. It's a 12-team super flex. Start 10, tight end premium 1.5. So whoever's interested, let me know. This way I can send you the league, because as soon as we fill it up, we'll send out the payments and all that. We'll get everything paid, and then we'll start drafting.
Yeah, I'm super excited to do that one as well. That'll be my last draft for the
Well, we've
year.
got Pot Pipe said he wanted to get in. The other Kevin, I think, said he wanted to get in. I sent them the stuff. I don't know if they're getting in yet, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. And Scott also. I've drafted in one league. You got to draft this Saturday. Okay.
Nice. I do want to open it up. Like, if we get desperate, I wouldn't mind, people from the other league, but I definitely want to give other people who aren't in the first subscriber league at least a chance.
I've already, I've posted it multiple times. I've reached out to a bunch of other people as well.
Yeah.
So, that was my first thing, is waiting until getting other people a chance. But now we're at the point where we don't have much time. So,
I feel you. Yeah, we got a week. We got a week, basically.
Yeah,
Less than a
basically.
week.
What up, Diaz? Took JT at the 212.
Oof. Sunday.
I wasn't
No,
touching him.
that's
I'm
no
not.
bueno.
Yeah, that sucks that you got the news now. But that was a chance, that you were trying to take. I mean, you were getting them so late that it might have seemed, obviously it was a bargain at the time, but you know,
Not anymore.
right? Elias, what up? Would you guys trade Terry McLaurin and Michael Thomas for DJ Moore?
So essentially, it's McLaurin for DJ Moore in my eyes.
Yeah, I wouldn't really even count Michael Thomas.
That's a tough one. I feel like they're very similar and have similar trajectories as kind of mid-tier wide receiver two, with wide receiver one upside. They both play with kind of unproven quarterbacks in offenses that are kind of, we feel like, are middle of the road. We're not, they're not great offenses. I think the Bears offense will be improved. And I think I'm not sure what to expect out of Washington. I kind of like the parts. I kind of like all of the parts around the quarterback. So I feel like it's kind of a lateral move, but I think DJ Moore might have a little more upside. So I think I might be okay with that. I know you love you some DJ Moore.
Yeah, I like DJ Moore. I mean, Terry is also hurt. He's got
That's
something
true.
with his toe. You've also got an ascending young wide receiver in Dotson across from him. You've got a rookie quarterback. We don't know how this is. Well, not rookie, second year now, but in Sam Howell, we don't know how that's going to turn out. So
two good
there
running backs.
it is a little bit iffy on McLaurin, and I like Terry. Like, don't get me
I think
wrong,
we all do.
but I think DJ, and we have this bet for the case of Mountain Dew that DJ Moore finishes as a top 20 fantasy wide receiver this year. Let us know in the chat, is DJ Moore top 20 this year or not? Are you still standing on that hammer? Are we still good with that?
Why would I backtrack now? I would lose all credibility if I backtrack. No. I didn't say I started liking him. I just said I wouldn't mind it for this trade.
But yeah, I think with the injury to Terry, give me DJ Moore. I feel like it might be a little bit safer.
I would tend to agree, and don't try and undermine me by having me backtrack. No, standing on that hill, don't do that.
Oh shit! Elias said that's rough. Got him at the 304 a week ago. Yeah, man. But it was being smart ass. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you take those chances, and if you hit, you hit. But if you lose, I mean,
yeah. And so really quick,
wait till
I for the most part, especially in redraft, I like to kind of draft the Sunday right before the games start. Like that's for the most part, that's kind of been my philosophy, because a lot of crazy shit like this happens, right? Where Jonathan Taylor is a big time player, and to go out and pick him up in the second or even third round, before the whole Tuesday deadline happened, like there's not a whole lot you could do about that. And that could really set your team back. A second, third round pick in a redraft, you're counting on those guys. Those are your, quote unquote hammers. So I genuinely, or generally, I should say, like to do my redrafts the Sunday right before the season starts. But, obviously it's tough to get people on the same page, 12, 14 teams, etc.
Feel like when you draft earlier on, sometimes you might have to play it a little bit safer. Almost like so.
But then again, anything can happen to anybody.
That's true. That's 100% true. I mean, so you don't know what's going to happen. Shit just happens every
year. But something like this is weird.
Shit happens.
This is a weird situation.
I got Devontae in the third in my league. Okay, yeah. I mean, I think I've got him at like wide receiver 9. I think for redraft, it's hard to put him up, higher than some of those other guys there.
Devontae in redraft, I'm totally fine with, because I still think, even with Jimmy Garoppolo, I talked about this before, I think Devontae Adams is still going to push 90-plus grabs. His yardage might be a little bit lower, but I still think he's going to push double-digit touchdowns. The yardage, like I said, might come down to 1,100, something around that area. But I still think he'll have 90-plus grabs, 10-plus touchdowns. I just think the yardage will take a little bit of a dip.
Yeah, Emil said Would you trade Kamara for James Conner in redraft?
Ooh. I don't know. I think Kamara has better upside, to be honest with you, because Arizona's playing in a really bad offense. James Conner has a massive injury history. He's going to get you would imagine, especially in the first couple of weeks, he's going to get a ton of work, and he does tend to break down as the season goes on. So, and Kamara's going to be suspended for the first 3 games, and that's basically essentially like adding a RB2 off the waiver wire if you do make that trade. So I think I'd rather have Kamara for this upcoming season in redraft than James Conner.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, and I think we talked a little bit about Conner yesterday with Baller, where it's another one where that team sucks, right? They're obviously tanking, right? Are they going to really play James Conner in the back end of the season, or is he really going to take that toll on his body, or are they going to kind of see what some of the younger guys can do? So yeah, I mean, I think Conner has a good first half, but I'm just I'm a little bit weary about the second half. So yeah, give me the upside. Give me the upside in Kamara, even though he's missing the 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
Diaz said he froze. Plan of Olave Andrews or Olave Mixon had to use the whole clock. Oh man,
Mixon would have been the safer pick.
Andrews would have probably been the better pick there, obviously. But
it's tough.
Kev said injury to Terry moved Dotson up. What could be Dotson's floor? Yeah, I mean he moves up a little bit. I mean I wouldn't say a ton, but I mean. Finishing as a wide receiver, finishing as a wide receiver 2 is going to be tough.
For Dotson,
especially because Terry is there. Yeah,
I agree.
At least for me, especially with Terry there, a lot of people are up on Dotson, and yes, maybe he can take a step up, but Terry's really good. Terry's really good,
and they have 2 good running backs that they use. So
I just don't know. A lot of people have a lot of faith in Dotson this year. I'm not as high on him. I would say he could finish as a wide receiver 3. I would say a floor would be wide receiver 4, 5 maybe, but possibly a wide receiver 2 at max if maybe Terry's out. But I think he finishes in that wide receiver 3-ish range. What do you think, Hammer? What y'all think out there? Throw it in the chat.
Yeah, I'm pretty much in agreement with that. I do think it really depends on how long Terry's out, right? So I think you treat it on a week. I think you treat it on a week-to-week basis. If you have Dotson and McLaurin's out, you're going to keep playing Dotson until McLaurin comes back, and then you see, or you can kind of see, if Dotson has a couple of good weeks and you feel like he's kind of reached his peak. You can, trade Dotson, see what you could get for him, maybe package him with something else, try and tier up at your wide receiver position. We always talk about that. But I think if you have Dotson, it really all hinges on whether McLaurin plays on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, I agree. Diaz said, who's the cuff to pick up? So
for who?
For JT. Yeah, for JT. He said he grabbed Zach Moss. I mean, for me, I like Deion Jackson more. I think Zach Moss has had some opportunities and he's never really done much. So yeah, the guy for me would be Deion Jackson, but I'm not excited about it.
So I remember, I believe it was the last episode. The episodes are piling up, but you did say you kind of want to stay away from that backfield as a whole. Like if you can go in a different direction, I think I'll
still pick up. If one of those guys on the waivers, I'll still pick him up because somebody might like him, and pay something for him like Diaz. I think he just made a trade for him in the follower league. So
yeah.
Oh, so my first 3 picks were Kelsey, Lamb, and Adams. Okay. I like that. And what running backs did you wind up ending up with? Crispy, what up, Crispy? How y'all feel about Swift?
No, I'm out. I've been off Swift for a while now, and Steve knows this, and I called it. So I want a little bit of credit on this. You felt about Swift like I felt about Carr, and I told you DeAndre Swift was not going to be that dude anymore. And you were maybe a year and a half ago, you were buying up DeAndre Swift, and it just didn't happen. But yeah, I especially, yeah. So even in redraft, at some point he'll become a value. So I'm not saying just avoid him completely. However, I'm not counting on him as my RB2. I can't do it. There's too many rushing options in that Philadelphia Eagles backfield, including their talented quarterback. So I don't trust Swift with the injury history, with the amount of competition in that running back room, including the quarterback. I'm not feeling Swift. I would stay away from him if possible. Listen, if you're getting him in the 7th, 8th, 9th round, all right, maybe he becomes a value at that point. But I just don't feel like I can count on him.
I took the L on Swift last year. But to be fair, like when he's on the field, he's a beast. Like he produces. I mean, he was an RB2 last year, even on limited snaps. Right? Limited getting hurt.
But
Right? Limited snaps.
it was versus the ADP though. That's kind of what the
Well, of
factor
course,
is, right?
of course. But now, obviously, that's adjusted now, with not getting the goal line work as well, right? Still, in RB2. So it's tough because this is the problem now. I like Swift, but at the same time, obviously, he's always getting injured, so it's a little tough to trust him. Now he's on the
Mm-hmm.
Eagles, where there's a bunch of guys there, and they kind of just give the ball to whoever. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, he is a pass catcher. That's his kind of specialty. And now he goes to a team that doesn't dump the ball off like that, right? I don't know if it was last year where they had 50 receptions, something like that. They weren't targeted that much. So unless they're like have a new game plan and have like specific plays for Swift, then I'm okay. I'd be more comfortable with him as my RB3 on the bench. I don't really want to insert him in my starting lineup until we kind of see what happens. But again, on top of that, now you look at who else is in that backfield. Rashard Penny,
Gainwell,
who's always injured.
Penny.
Boston Scott, he's not that good. Gainwell, they love Gainwell.
Mm-hmm. And Jalen Hurts, like I said.
And of course, you got Jalen Hurts as well. But, there is a path where guys get injured and he gets work. But can he stay healthy? So that's the problem. That's the problem.
How consistent is he going to be? Right. We know like this isn't Detroit 2-3 years ago. You know what I mean? So the limited work now, he is efficient. Like I'll give him that. He's dynamic. He makes plays, but with all of those factors, how can I count on him as my RB2? I'd rather have a guy like Pacheco in my RB2. I'd rather have, a guy like AJ Dillon in my RB2 where I know I'm going to get touchdown production at the goal line. You know what I mean? I'd rather have a guy like that where I'm getting some consistency as opposed to boom or bust.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Pacheco, but I got you. Speaking of the Packers, because you mentioned AJ Dillon, apparently they were trying to trade for JT, offering up AJ Dillon, and I guess that could still possibly be on the table, but we never really talked about it. What did you think about that?
First off, I was extremely surprised because the Packers never really delve into that kind of situation. So I was actually watching NFL Live a couple of days ago, and Adam Schefter, because we knew Miami was in it, that was kind of like a known thing. And then they said there was a second kind of surprise team, and they said it was the Packers. And I actually got an alert from ESPN, and I think Sleeper had an alert, and it kind of just blew up my phone all at once that the Packers were trying to trade for JT. But I would have been excited, to be honest with you, because I think Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon would have been a really, really nice combo to go with, obviously, Jordan Love and the trio of wide receivers. And also, too, really quick, just as an aside, their young tight end, Musgrave, he looks like a dude. Like
he's good. He was in my top 5. He was in my top 5 tight ends.
He looks like a
coming out.
He looks like a dude. So I'm excited about that offense as a whole. And, if they would have been able to add JT, I think any team that would have been able to add him, it would have been a massive upgrade, outside of the, Chubbs and, Saquon Barkley's and stuff like that. So I would have been thoroughly excited. I think that probably could have cemented their playoff run for them, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
because it would have took a ton of pressure off Jordan Love. It would have made it much
been good.
easier for those wide receivers to get those one-on-one coverages, lighten the box, etc. So I mean, lighten the coverage on the outside. So, but it didn't happen. And I think a lot of teams will potentially stay away from him now because he's going to be out for a month.
Yeah.
And also, too, another factor is really quick is that whoever trades for him, like if you give up something of value, you're going to have to pay him.
Pay him. That's the problem, is that nobody wants to give up, a first and then have to pay him on top of that. So
exactly. Yep.
Appreciate all y'all watching, everybody in the chat. We'll get to all the questions there. Just smash that like for us, hit that subscribe if you're new. Appreciate y'all. But Crispy, Gibson will be getting a lot of catches. Yes, I like Gibby this year. He's part of my Supernova 12. That I love me some Gibson, especially now when you got the enemy there. Like, I like it.
And McLaurin being banged up kind of helps his stock in the for those maybe first week or two.
You got him. You got Swift and who was it? Swift, Aaron Jones, and
that Aaron Jones and Swift.
Yeah. Here's Diaz. Despite injury, he's been a top efficiency back since entering the league. Yeah, man, that's the problem. Is like he's really good. He doesn't even need a lot of touches to do work. Like that's the other part of it, right?
No, but the problem now is that, as we just alluded, Diaz, is that Philadelphia running attack is so crowded that we remember last year in the Super Bowl where Miles Sanders just disappeared and they started running Boston Scott and Kenneth Gainwell. Like I had a parlay with Miles Sanders getting, I think, like 50 rushing yards or 40 rushing yards. He just disappeared after the first quarter. So I don't trust that rushing backfield outside of, if you have Jalen Hurts, obviously the rushing is built into the quarterback, but outside of that, I don't trust that Philadelphia backfield at all.
Would you guys trade Patrick Mahomes? You just starting off with would you trade Patrick Mahomes? I'm
Hang
gonna
on,
say
read it.
But I'm gonna read it. Mahomes, Connor, and Michael Thomas for Olave.
Okay.
Hurts. Essentially, I'm downgrading at QB to upgrade my wide receivers. I only have Deontay, Terry, Michael Thomas, and OBJ.
Okay, so the context isn't as bad as it was when you first read the question, because I don't know.
This would break my Mahomes. Nope.
Yeah, I think you could do other things without giving up Mahomes. I feel like
we're not. Yeah, trade somebody else. Tier up from trade fucking Connor and one of these wide receivers maybe if you want to tier up. I mean Michael Thomas and OBJ. Come on, man. What made you draft those guys?
All right, for all of our listeners, we love you guys.
That's tough. It's tough.
We've been saying this for a long time. Stop drafting Michael Thomas and Odell Beckham Jr. Stop doing this. This is not 2015, I promise you, or 2016, or 2017, or 2018. Please stop drafting these guys.
Yeah, said don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. He says, I know it would suck. My wide receivers are not the best. They're not, but you know what? Mahomes and Kelsey make up for a lot of that.
Yeah. So that can carry you most every week.
I'm not gonna break that up. I'd rather plug and play, guys in there and figure it out. Or make a trade some other way. But you're not gonna give up Mahomes and Kelsey, who were your best two picks in the draft by absolute far. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Caleb, what up, brother? Swift is this year's Josh Jacobs.
No.
I'm not going to be on that train. I'm not going to be on that train, but I'm not going to say that that's not possible because I like Swift. I like Swift. It's a matter of staying healthy, bro. And
I'm going to tell you why.
And go ahead.
Number one, Josh Jacobs is probably going to get 300 touches. There's nobody to.
Well, he's saying this year's Josh Jacobs, like
1,600 lead the league in rushing and have 1,600 yards.
Or maybe I don't know if he means
surprise.
that. Let me know if you mean that, or if he's just talking about like ADP wise, being able to get like Josh Jacobs so crazy late,
value wise.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just, even still, that's a tough pill for me to swallow, Caleb, just because as we alluded to, all those reasons, right? There's just Swift doesn't stay healthy. Josh Jacobs, even though Josh Jacobs gets banged up, he plays no matter what. Josh Jacobs is a workhorse running back. DeAndre Swift proved that he's not that the last couple of years in Detroit. And there's nobody to threaten Josh Jacobs' production from that position on his own team when there's 3 or 4 other guys on DeAndre Swift's team that are going to cut into his upside.
Appreciate you, Caleb. Love you too,
yeah,
brother.
Caleb. Definitely appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in. Guys, make sure you go check out Caleb too. We got his own channel over there as well. DS says, sounds like you convinced yourself. I think your wide receivers are good enough. Kelsey's your wide receiver one. Exactly.
Yeah.
And you have his QB, the best QB.
That stack. I think there's really 3 or 4 different stacks that you never want to break up. Kelsey to Mahomes is one of them. Burrow to Chase is another. Hurts to AJ Brown kind of, I think, fits in that category. So those are the kind of top 3 that I have that if you have that, you're not really trying to give that up.
Yeah. So DS said, unless it's 4-point, then I'm not doing it. And Elias says it is 4-point, but I don't want to break up that stack to take a chance on Hurts, because don't forget, Hurts got to stay healthy too. He wasn't there for you last year. Everybody wants Hurts, but he wasn't there in the playoffs, right, when you needed him.
Good point. It's a good point.
It's rough because Jalen Hurts absolutely could finish as QB1, but I am just a Mahomes guy, and I think with Mahomes and Kelsey,
no, you have such an.
I just want to keep it and explore other options, explore other options before you try and take that. I would say. Love Olave, but get him any other way. SXP, what's up, bro? 12 team, start 9, Superflex PPR, 1.5 tight end premium, QB Lamar, Watson, Jimmy G. Okay, like that. Really like that. Jimmy G as a QB3 there. JJ Wilson, Devonta, DK Ridley. Oh boy, damn, bro. RB, is that Bijan or Brian Robinson?
I would imagine Brian, because look at his wide receivers and look at his quarterbacks.
Yeah, well, that's fine. The wide receivers you have. Yeah, wide receivers you have.
I agree. I'm just saying that can't be Bijan.
You can play those running backs. You could play those running backs and be absolutely fine. Tight end, Joku, Conklin, all 2024 picks, thrown on the contention with lower RBs. Not worried about it. You've got
how you build the team.
You've got 2 stud QBs. You've got stud wide receivers. So you're killing in the wide receiver position and the flex position. And all you're doing is mixing in those running backs. I mean, go into our channel and check out the episode we did on Warp with Scott Connor. And he brings up, like, people think you need, an Aaron Jones or something like that to win at the running back position, to win a championship. But if you build your team correctly, right, if you have the correct roster construction
with this format,
you're good. And this is, shit. You've got 2, top 10-ish wide receivers. Devonta Smith. You got all like top 20, 15-ish wide receivers that can finish. So, you're killing everybody in all those other positions. You're good at QB. So I like it, man. I love it. So I'm not worried about it. I would just, I'd play Brian Robinson and Dylan.
Or Herbert,
Herbert, depending on the situation, if he's getting the touches, or Roshan if he's getting the touches. So,
and listen,
but I think you're fine, bro. I think you're fine, and you have time too.
We always talk about, especially when you're doing startups, right? Where is your value allocated? Is it allocated in the right spots? And we've seen a ton of teams out there allocate their capital in the running back position, and the problem is it's so devalued because of injury, because most of these guys are not bell cow running backs, that the way you built this team is the right way. And listen, with this team and this format, if you needed to trade DK or Ridley to upgrade your running back position during the season, you could absolutely do that, right? You have so much good value at the right positions that you can go out and fine tune your team as the season progresses.
So yeah, I love the squad. I wouldn't touch anything right now, and you can always buy a running back in season, right? You
or pick
get to
them up
that
off
half
waivers.
you
Yeah.
get to that halfway point, and there's a team that thought maybe they were going to be in contention, and they're not, and they have an older running back, and you buy one for a second. So if you need to, and if a situation arises, so I would roll in with that and just kind of stroll along, bro.
And he's got a competent tight end with Njoku, got the little Watson Njoku
Yeah, you're
stack. That's
fine.
nice.
You're fine, man. Packers know JT's a stud.
I think everybody does. It's just
Element
whatever
difference. What's
happened
up,
made it
man?
happen.
Appreciate all y'all for tuning in, guys. Smash that like, smash that subscribe if you're new. We'll get to all the questions. Trade Bijan and Christian Watson for Barkley and Drake London, full PPR.
Ooh, this is
That is
spicy.
very spicy. Very.
All right, so let's break it down. Would you rather have Bijan or Barkley?
I'd rather have Bijan.
Would you rather have Christian Watson or Drake London?
Rather have Drake London.
Which would you say is the best player out of those four?
Me, it's Bijan. I have him ranked the highest for me, but I don't have Barkley far behind. So like, I think I'm okay with taking Barkley and Drake London. I know Barkley's older and Bijan is younger, but I think
That's
I'm.
a tough
It
one.
depends. It depends how you feel about Christian Watson and how you feel about Drake London. Really, Bijan and Barkley, you can say I guess is kind of a toss up. I mean, where do y'all rate Barkley and Bijan? I mean, they're close. They're or close enough, right?
Yeah. But also, too, would you, in just looking at it, does it kind of feel lateral-ish?
Absolutely feels lateral-ish. Absolutely. So, being that it does feel kind of lateral-ish, maybe we just hold on to Bijan and we look to tier up from Watson. Take Watson and somebody else that you have on your squad and tier up from Christian Watson that way. I think that would probably be the better way.
Okay.
Just take Barkley out of it, take Bijan out of it, just Christian Watson plus for Drake London.
It kind of
So,
makes more sense.
or you can go after someone else because I really don't want to give up Bijan, but
And also, too, we
I'm
don't,
gonna say no, just explore other options. But yeah, my bad. Go ahead, Hammer.
yeah, no, I think also, too, because like Saquon Barkley's future is kind of up in the air still, right? He's on the franchise tag. We don't know. He was already unhappy to begin with. It's just, I think he'll
Well,
obviously he's going to play somewhere, but that uncertainty after this year plays into it just a little bit.
forget
So,
after this year. This is redraft. I'm guessing.
okay,
I'm not doing it in Dynasty. No, hell no.
gotcha.
For redraft. What side you on for redraft?
Ah, man, that's a tough
Or
one.
or are you just saying fuck it, don't do this and
Yeah, I think. I
like
mean,
I said, take a different approach.
if I had to lean one way, I'd probably go Bijan and Watson, just because I think Bijan has tremendous upside, and I think Christian Watson has really good upside too. I think we're kind of sleeping on the whole Jordan Love led Packers offense, and this is kind of me trying to be as objective as possible. But Christian Watson has really good upside. Now, I don't think it's going to be as consistent, but I do think he has tremendous upside in a game-to-game scenario where we saw last year he can go out there and give you 100 yards and multiple touchdowns. So that's a tough one for me. So I think if I had to choose, I'd do Bijan and Christian Watson. But in a perfect world, I think the route you said is probably the best route.
Yeah, I would just look to take another approach to it. I don't want to give up Bijan. Oh, you got Brees Hall too. I mean, shit. I'd rather just stay where I'm at and try and you just tear up, And again, depending how you feel about Christian Watson. So, Elias said, "Oh, his team was auto drafted after the 6th round. Damn, you got to set up the queue, bro.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Got to set up the queue. Got to set up the queue." Marty, what up, brother? What's good, Marty? Yeah, said you better drop out. What's more important? Yeah, but yeah, especially if you know you're going to be in class, just set up a nice little queue.
Yeah,
Take a few minutes,
absolutely.
set up a queue. Jackson, what up, Jackson? I love how Jackson
Whoa.
gives a what up to Hammer and not Stevie B. Damn, Jackson. I miss you too, bro.
Jackson, what is happening, bro? How you been? What's
Uh,
going on with your teams, Jackson? We haven't heard from you in a minute. What's going on with your teams?
yeah. Marty said the Gophers are beat Matt Rule in Nebraska.
Matt Rule. Oof, haven't
Yeah,
heard that name.
SXP, no problem, man.
Hell yeah, bro.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we
Oh,
go.
I like it.
Jackson said, rate the 12-man team: QB Kirk, Aaron Jones, Chubb, James Cook, Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen, Pittman, Hollywood Brown, Nico, and Sutton with Dalton Schultz at tight end.
I take it this is a redraft.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I'm not mad at it. He's got, I think, and I've been saying this, and I'm gonna stand on this. And this is obviously me being as objective as possible. I think Kirk Cousins is being extremely undervalued, particularly in redraft, where he has top 8, maybe pushing 5 upside. He doesn't give you anything with the rushing. That's the only thing I think that's holding him back from, truly elite fantasy production. But I think Kirk Cousins is such a tremendous value in redrafts, especially in these one quarterback leagues. If you don't get the Mahomes, the Burrows, the Allens, don't reach for those guys if you don't have to in the first 3 rounds in these one quarterback leagues. So I actually love that. Aaron Jones with Nick Chubb and James Cook. I'm pretty good with that as well. You got the hammer and Chubb. And then I think Devontae Adams is still a wide receiver 1. Like I have him in that 8 or 9 range. I said Keenan, I don't trust. Pittman on a shaky offense. Hollywood Brown, same thing. So I think there is some work to be done to probably find a more stable wide receiver 2 behind Devontae. Schultz, I do like at tight end. I think we touched on him before as well.
I have so I mean Jackson, I like the squad. Chubb is big for me. I like Chubb. I think James Cook has a good season this year. Like Hammer said, Kirk is definitely underrated. Devontae, I mean Pittman, Hollywood with shit at quarterback. Nico, Sutton maybe with Judy out, but I don't trust him. Overall, I like the squad, but maybe you can make some trades, right? Can you trade away Like I like
Keenan.
Keenan. I have Keenan on one of my dynasty teams in a 1 QB, and I'm just waiting for him to go off a game or two, and then I'm going to move him because I don't trust him for the whole season. So as soon as he gives me some value there, I'm moving him. But yeah, I mean, overall, I just see maybe if you can make some moves, right?
Yeah, I think upgrading that second wide receiver position outside of Devontae, because again, like you said, I really do like Michael Pittman as a wide receiver, but we know what his situation is, and now no Jonathan Taylor, so it's gonna be a little tough for Pittman to even probably hit that wide receiver 2 upside. I think he's more of a wide receiver 3-ish. And then Hollywood Brown, kind of similar situation as Pittman. We know he's a fantastic wide receiver. He's just in a shitty offense, even worse than Indianapolis at this point. So I think Sutton, though, I will say this really quick. I think Sutton is a really good value with the Judy injury.
I like Sutton. It's just hard to trust him over the whole course of the season. But he's another one kind of like Keenan where I like him. Maybe let him go off for 1 game or 2, and then that's where you can try and take advantage and move them at that point. Because I think just over the course of the season is where I might.
I would agree.
Is where I might be worried a little bit. But I mean I like Sutton. I have him in I think 2 of my redraft leagues. But he's sitting on my bench and there's nobody there. There's nobody there. Like I'll take the chance on him. Like you said, the value is there to hold him. So Element said it was for redraft. I took the Barkley side. I'm not mad at it. That was my initial reaction to just take
Either way,
because I like London.
Feels lateral,
but
so I don't think
either way. Yeah, not mad at it. I also have an offer receiving Josh Jacobs, but they want Breece Hall and McLaurin.
I don't know.
Is Jacob? How you feeling with Jacobs?
I think Jacobs is going to have a good season. I really do. I think that he still has something to prove, right? He's still playing for a contract.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know we talked about him a little bit in terms of, if he has a little injury, a nick here, a nick there, maybe he sits out. But the more that I think about it, and I was actually watching Fantasy Football Live today, and they really brought up a good point where he still has something to prove, right? He's still playing for a contract. So, if he only goes out there and plays 8 games, that's not going to do him any good. So I think Josh Jacobs has a really good season. I don't think he's going to have 1,600 yards again, but I think he'll have 1,300 yards, 8-9 touchdowns, and he'll be really productive.
Mm-hmm. Derek, what up, Derek?
Derek, always a pleasure, Derek.
Miss you, brother. Catch. Oh, I missed Catch. Appreciate you stopping in, Catch. Make sure you guys check out Catch. He's awesome over there with the redraft stuff, getting into the Dynasty now. Elias Watson for me, to be honest. Okay, I'm not mad at it. Like I said, just depends how you feel. So, yeah, smash that thumbs up for us, guys. Smash that like, smash the subscribe if you're new. Appreciate y'all. Throw all the questions out there in the chat. We will get to them. SXP said, I really appreciate the in-depth answer, fellas. Stay lifted. Yes, sir.
What we do.
And that's what we like to do. We like to give you some in-depth stuff. We're not just throwing out names. We're giving you some insight behind it, what we're thinking, what some possibilities are.
For sure. What's interesting too is
Mostert, yeah.
Mostert, yeah. Jeff Wilson went to IR, so Mostert, that's a really good thought, Crispy there, because I know they have A-Chain as well, but isn't he dealing with something?
He's dealing with the shoulder. Wilson just got put on IR, right? So he's out for at least 4 games, and they don't know if he's even going to come back. Gaskin is on the Vikings now. They released Gaskin. Vikings picked him up.
That's right.
So, as much as I was off of A-Chain like this, and I said, as much as I'm off A-Chain, that the only way that he has a chance to really kind of be
one
something
of those 2 guys,
is if somebody gets injured and he's forced into that role. So, I do like A-Chain at this point. I don't know if Wilson is coming back. Did you hear what he said? What the coach said, I think it was.
Yeah,
they were like,
1 second.
We're gonna see how what his body tells us. We're hoping that he can come back or something like that. Somebody get me the exact.
Yeah, I got it right here. He wouldn't be surprised if Jeff Wilson he wouldn't be surprised if he was midsection injury compounded by finger issues. We made the assessment he couldn't protect himself and he couldn't be himself by the way we know. I wouldn't be surprised if he would make a return this season. We will let his body tell us.
Isn't that a little funky?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound good.
He said this season. He didn't just say, yeah, he'll be out a few weeks. We're going to put him on the IR so he gets better and he'll be back. He said, this season.
It's not good.
So I'm worried about that.
It's not good. But as you said, it opens up carries for A-Chain. And we know Tua is not really going to run it like that.
Yeah, don't forget. Fournette is still lingering around out there. Hunt is still lingering around out there. So I wouldn't be surprised if they add. I think they definitely have to add somebody. They've been trying to add somebody regardless of the injury that happened. So,
and they were heavy in the JT sweepstakes apparently.
Yep. Crispy said, Ritter is not as good as Love, in my opinion. No, I don't think he is either. I don't think that matters as much. It's just the targets that Drake London, I feel like, is going to command, and possibly a better offense as well, with maybe some more opportunities. So I don't know.
It'll be really interesting.
I agree that Love is better than Ritter.
It'll be interesting, but also too, listen, both of these guys are unproven. I think there's a lot more momentum for Jordan Love because he had a fantastic preseason and he looks really good. And as I said before in a couple different episodes, I like the collection more than I like the individuals at the skill positions for the Packers. Like the collection of everything fits nicely. So I do think Jordan Love is another one of those guys, especially in Dynasty, where he could be a tremendous value in the 12th, 13th round potentially in super flex leagues where people are not really on him yet. So I definitely think Jordan Love has a higher upside than Ritter for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Jackson, I like this team much better than the other team. Burrow, Mixon, Kenneth Walker, Garrett Wilson, Olave, Kelsey, and Lockett with Hollywood and Zay Flowers.
Any team with Joe Burrow is I'm a fan of. So let's just put it that way.
And Sky Moore too. Yeah, I like that.
There you go.
I like that, bro.
And then you have Kelsey to boot. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
With Olave, DJ Moore. See, that's a more solid, stable team that you could count on week to week.
So Derek said this is his work league. Drafted 5 out of 12, 1 QB. Mahomes, Walker, Brian Robinson, Kelsey, Olave, DJ Moore, London, Ayuk, Bench, Jamal Williams, Trey Burks, Addison, Thielen, Algier, Elijah Mitchell. Thoughts?
I'll be honest with you. I think Addison might have a statistically better season than Drake London. Like honestly, if I had Addison, I'd probably have him in as my wide receiver 3 on this team to start.
I'm not doing that, but
I would.
Ain't doing that. Not right now, anyway. I mean, if we see during the season and Addison is,
I'm doing it out the box. And I hate the Vikings, but I'm looking at the offense.
Over London or Ayuk. Not right now. Not right now. We've got to see.
Maybe not Ayuk, but over London, I would.
Yeah, I like the team. You got the Mahomes Kelsey stack. I mean, boom. But you still got Olave, you still got DJ Moore, you still got London, you still got Ayuk. Can we tier up from one of these guys? I mean, you got Trey Burke, you got Addison on the bench. I mean, can we tier up? Can we do an Ayuk London combo, an Addison Ayuk and Addison London? Can we get another top tier guy?
Who are you looking at if you're packaging those guys?
I mean, shit, we're looking at the top of the top. I mean, shit, we're looking at whoever.
Wilson.
Diggs, AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Waddle, Wilson, any of those guys really.
Let me frame it this way. If somebody offered you London and Ayuk and you had one of those top guys, what's the top guy you would offer that would be on your team and that you would accept for those two guys?
First off, I'm not getting rid of those guys. Second off,
answer the question.
I think that we are trying to attack other teams, right? So who's short at wide receiver that maybe would want to split up a top wide receiver in order to get more depth on their team, right? So that is what I think we need to do. So I mean, if I had a Garrett Wilson, which is tough, I'm probably going to want Olave,
which doesn't make sense.
Right? So do you do that at that point? No, right? So you're going to offer DJ Moore, London, Ayuk, Addison, whatever combination that you want. Serve up DJ Moore on the platter. He's got the preseason hype going on. He's got a bunch of hype going on. I do still think he finished as a top 20 guy, but can you take him and combine him with somebody else and get a top 10 guy?
So, and this is redraft, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Are you going? See, that's a little too much. But maybe
you got to in redraft.
No, I understand. I was going to float another idea.
Oh, my bad.
In this particular situation, are you going 3 for 1 if you land a CeeDee Lamb? Would you go Addison, Ayuk, and London for CeeDee Lamb?
Addison, Ayuk, and London. So now you got Olave, DJ Moore, and CeeDee Lamb. You got Trey Burks on the bench. Yeah, I do it because you got Kelsey and Mahomes. You know what kind of damage you're going to do with Mahomes, Kelsey, Olave, and CeeDee Lamb? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, and we talk about this, right, too, where when you're in these redraft leagues, swing for the damn fences. If you got a bunch of, B to B plus, C plus to B receivers, combine 3 of those guys.
Go. Appreciate you tuning in. Smash that like, smash that subscribe for us, guys, if you haven't already. Appreciate all y'all. I took Waddle over Garrett Wilson in my non-PPR. Did I make a mistake? Yes, you did, but it might not be that bad. It might not be that bad as long as Tua stays healthy. Like Waddle does damage. I mean, we've seen it the last 2 years.
Yes, he
So,
does. Yes, he does.
So I would say that I would have took Garrett Wilson over Waddle, but like I'm not crazy mad at it. I just feel more comfortable with Garrett Wilson. Obviously there is a little bit of risk with Tua, but go ahead.
I think most people do, but I just think that with that offense, that is the Miami offense, man, Waddle is just fantastic. And he doesn't need a ton of volume to do damage, right? And we saw plenty of games where Tyreek Hill was going off and it still didn't matter because Waddle was going to get his. The thing with Garrett Wilson, I just wonder if there's going to be an adjustment period. I know Aaron's really good. I know everybody's hyped up over that one little meaningless touchdown that he threw to Garrett Wilson in the preseason. Do I think Garrett's going to be really good? I do. But I still think Waddle has that game-breaking, and this is what we talk about when we talk about fantasy playoffs and in a must-win situation. Like Jalen Waddle can go out there and give you 30, 35 points, even in a non-PPR with the yardage, and he can rack up multi-touchdown games. So I think Waddle has a little bit of a higher ceiling, especially on a game-to-game basis than Garrett Wilson, but, we'll see. I think the quarterback thing is probably the biggest determining factor when you're deciding over these 2 guys, because you got to imagine Aaron's going to be there, and we just don't know how healthy Tua is going to be.
I think Garrett Wilson is going to get a shit ton of targets from Aaron.
I don't disagree.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I like Garrett Wilson over him, but I'm not extremely mad about it, I guess. Marty said Madison equals Sanders, Gaskin equals Gainwell, and Chandler equals Buster Scott to compare Vikes to last year Eagles. Yeah, I guess could be. Yeah. We'll see. We shall see. Kayoko said Mahomes, CMC, Pierce, Waddle, Metcalf, Hawkinson, flex either James Conner or Chris Godwin. Okay. Damn, non-PPR? Not a lot of people play non-PPR anymore.
That's true. But, you're going at least half PPR in most leagues.
Yeah, but you got Mahomes, CMC, Pierce, Waddle. It kind of takes away from CMC a little bit.
It does. It definitely does.
Metcalf, even Hawkinson, because he's going to get a shit ton of catches too, I think. But yeah, I mean that's a good squad. It's a good squad. I probably want to upgrade. I probably want to upgrade DK though.
I think the problem with that is the PPR. Christian McCaffrey makes his living in the PPR game, so I'd rather have somebody like Chubb over CMC in a non-PPR league. Even Josh Jacobs.
Yeah,
and also too,
wide receiver.
Did you see I'm sure you saw the news on Sleeper about CMC where they want to take him off the field more to keep him healthy throughout the season. I don't know how realistic, but I think, and I don't pay attention to a ton of that stuff because coaches say a lot of shit, and then when you're out there on the field, you're going to do whatever you need to do to win games. However, when Eli Mitchell came back, and him and CMC both were available to play, Eli Mitchell got a ton of carries. So I think there is some truth to that statement, not to just poo-poo it as I do most of this offseason chatter. I think based on what we've seen when Eli Mitchell was playing with San Francisco last year after CMC came over, I think there is some legitimacy to that.
There is. I agree. The only problem is that Elijah Mitchell is going to get hurt, and then CMC is just going to have to play more. So,
fair.
I think that's inevitable. So,
who am I to argue with?
But yeah, no, I do agree that if Elijah Mitchell does stay healthy, he is going to take some work. But we kind of saw that a little bit last year too. So, Connie said I got offered Ridley and Dobbins for my Kupp. You should have been smashed that.
As much as it pains me to say,
Passionate.
how can I refute that at this point?
So what about offering B-Rob, Drake, and Addison for Jay
James Cook.
Cooks?
James Cook.
James Cook? Ridley. Okay, Jay Cooks, Ridley, and Zay Flowers. My bad. Person as a Washington fan, thoughts. Ridley, Flowers, and Cooks for B-Rob, Drake, and Addison.
Well, so we break it down. There's 3 for 3. Do you like B-Rob or James Cook better? Probably James Cook, maybe. It
You
feels
like
like a
James Cook,
wash.
but it's relatively close. You can kind of wash that out.
We like Ridley over Drake London for this season
Too.
anyway. Do you like Addison over Flowers? No.
I like Addison over Flowers. Not, I mean,
I
like
meant do you
Flowers
like
too.
Flowers, but do you like Addison to be more productive than Flowers this year?
Yeah,
I
I mean,
do.
I'll take the higher passing offense. I mean, Kirk is going to throw it fucking 600 and something times.
There
So,
you go.
um, I would rather have Addison, but you rob Drake and Addison for Cooks, Ridley, and Zay Flowers.
See if you could break this down into smaller chunks, Derek. Like, who are you trying to acquire the most? Like, which player are you Are you going after Cooks? Are you going after James Cook? Are you going after Ridley? Are you going after Zay Flowers? Because you might not have to give up, Addison. You might not have to give up all those guys. Try and
Yeah,
isolate the guy that you want, and then maybe just do a 1-for-1 or maybe a 2-for-1.
yeah. If you want Ridley, just go get Ridley.
Yeah,
We don't need the 3 for 3, 4 for 4s. It's just
it gets
almost
crazy.
lateral. Like also, you can say too. It's one of those if you want Ridley, just try and maybe just go get Ridley by himself. I would say. You know.
Agreed.
Crispy said, "What do you think I could get for Garrett Wilson in the fucking
Why are we giving up Garrett Wilson in Dynasty? That is the first question.
4 first round picks? I
Yeah,
mean, you can buy you a quarterback. So yeah, he's up there. I would say like 3-ish first round picks, maybe 4.
my real question is
Not
why do
like
you
that
want to
high
give?
in Superflex.
Why would you want to give up Garrett Wilson in Dynasty?
Yeah, I wouldn't give up Garrett Wilson. But yeah, every year we get an L tattoo punishment or an alternative. This year's alternative is you donate to an S bank and you check the box where the kid can contact you when they're 18. Oh shit.
See, that's some life changing shit. The
That
tattoo,
is
whatever. The tattoo is whatever. You can cover up a tattoo, add to it this. The S bank is life altering stuff. That's wild.
shit.
This is a good
Already said
question.
Madison or Camara this year.
It's a good question.
Mm-hmm. Think, Hammer. We got Kamara's out for 3 games, guys. Don't forget.
Yes, he is. So he's giving you, if he stays healthy for the rest, he's giving you 11 games during the regular fantasy season. So that kind of factors into it right off the top. I don't know, man. I think it still might be Kamara. I think it'll be close enough, though, where I don't think Madison's going to play out the box, but are they going to involve the other guys that they have? Like,
Probably.
the Saints have Jamal Williams. They have Keandre Miller. So that's tough. I don't think there's much of a separation. I do like Kamara in PPR leagues, especially with Derek Carr now at quarterback. That's a tough one. I think I might lean Kamara just on the receiving work, but it's tough.
It is tough because Minnesota's going to be a really good offense.
But are they going to be in a ton of shootouts where they're going to be handing it off a ton?
Mm. Madison or Camara this year. That is a tough one. But Madison could bang in a bunch of tutties, so it's.
You good?
I don't know. I think they're both kind of in the same boat for me. But if I have to choose one, give me Kamara, I guess. What was Kamara last year? Was it like RB15 or something?
Let me look it up. In our half PPR league, Kamara was half PPR 18, full PPR 16. So a big decline from what he's been. He's basically been a top 10 guy every single year and a top 5 guy a bunch of those years. So obviously not crazy in the rushing department, not crazy efficient, but it's the receiving work, and that took a little bit of a dip, especially in the touchdown department. Kamara he played 15 games, only had 4 touchdowns, so that's concerning.
Mm-hmm.
And he was, bro, for 4 straight years, from 2017 to 2020, he basically averaged 80 receptions on 100 targets.
I know, but it's not
the quarterback play. It's the quarterback play. I get it.
I think if you want to just play it safe, just play it safe, we'll just take Madison. We'll take Madison with that offense and hope he bangs in some tutties.
Yeah, I think I'm going to lean Kamara on that one.
You could go either way. I dig it. Kayoko said, appreciate the advice. Appreciate you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, thumbs up, guys. Derek said he wants Ridley.
Okay. So that's good. So you isolate the guy that you want and go make it happen.
What can we give up? B-Rob, Drake, Addison. Where's this team at? Hold on. Let me see if I can pull up the team again. There we go. Want Ridley? You said I wanted to give up who?
See if you could give up maybe a London and a Treylon Burks, maybe. Keep Ayuk, keep Addison.
Might have to give up London and Addison, or Ayuk and Addison. I'm gonna have to give up 2 if that guy's gonna give up Ridley.
Mm-hmm.
You know. He said he is a Washington fan, so I guess he's trying to pawn off Brian Robinson to him. I mean, you could throw Robinson in there and just ask for James Cook back, with it, if you want to do that. You know?
So he's already given up B-Rob, regardless.
Yeah. Diaz said trade G Will in a first for Herbert, capitalize on the overvalue. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's up there with the QBs. He can buy you a QB if you want, you know? Absolutely. I don't know if you need a QB or not, Crispy. Let us know what your team is looking like, since you think you're asking about it, what do you think you can get for him. So are you in a situation where you do need to get rid of him? What's the rest of your team look like? Maybe we can take a look at your squad real quick and get some better ideas and give you some advice. I thought Madison was hurt. I think he's dealing with a little something, but I don't think it's anything crazy. Or tear down from him. Yeah, you could always do that as well if you need to rebuild, if you're just not a great team. Absolutely. Wilson to Olave in a second. Yeah, I'd do that if you got to rebuild or something. Always need a QB. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, depending how you build your squad, right? I mean, you don't need no QBs in our follower league. So yeah, if you're in need of a QB, let us know. Maybe we'll try and see if we can make something happen with you. What's your guys' thoughts on Keenan Allen? I got him in my half PPR league, but I just don't think he'll stay healthy. I think we touched on it earlier, where I said wait till he goes off a game or 2 and then try and move him at that point.
For sure.
I don't know.
Also, too, really quick on the Keenan Allen situation. If you get a chance, try and swipe up Quentin Johnston. If you move off of Keenan, see maybe if you can go out and get Quentin Johnston. I think he has rookie of the year potential, especially with the injury history to Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. How many games did we see last year with both Keenan Allen and Mike Williams? At least one of the two were out, and some games both of them were out. They're a year older with more mileage. Go out and get Quentin Johnston if you can.
Keenan Allen. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is just wait till he has a good game or two and then trade him. It's going to be hard to go through the whole season. He is a target hog, so all you need is like one good game, and then people are going to be like, okay, I want him.
So what's crazy about that is what you just mentioned. It came to my mind. So I was playing chicken in the fantasy playoff last year, and Keenan Allen just happened to be healthy, and I think he had like 13 catches
Oh, he
on
went off.
15 targets. Like it was
Hmm.
crazy. It was
He went off.
absolutely crazy.
Went off when he's healthy. He's good. Enrique, I don't feel good about Cup. Do you guys think I should hold him or try trade? And
You
it's
have
gonna
to
be
hold him
real.
now.
It's gonna
You
be
have to
real hard
hold
to
him
trade him
now.
now. It's gonna be real hard to trade him now. But if he plays as soon as you get the chance, then I would probably move off of him. So I'm just gonna have to
Yeah,
wait till he plays.
I'm pretty much in the same
Caddy,
boat.
what's good,
Caddy,
Caddy? It's been a while, bro.
Caddy, really quick. I gotta know: is that just a troll picture, or is that actually you?
No, I think that's Caddy.
Okay,
That's him, bro.
because sometimes people
My
put
guy.
troll pictures up there.
Yeah, said I'll take another if y'all got any. Yeah, no, I don't. I definitely don't.
I only have two.
My draft goes good this Saturday. Nah, you'll be fine, Caddy. Just do the right things. Don't draft JT. That'll be rule
Right?
number one. Don't draft
Don't draft
Cup. That'll be rule number two.
don't draft Mike Thomas or OBJ. Stay away from
Man.
quarterbacks in a one quarterback
I
league
guess
until
at a
like the fourth
certain
round.
point and really deep in the draft, I guess you can take JT because he's going to wind up playing at least a few games. He's got to be active for at least six. So
If he gets traded, that would be massive.
yeah, but they got to give him a contract too. So
Yeah, I know. It's
Caddy said, "What's your top rookie wide receivers this season?"
oh yeah, I like this
We just
question.
kind of talked about Jordan Addison.
Mm-hmm. You know what the problem with JSN is that he's got those two guys, those two established productive guys. So I always said for JSN, I pretty much think he won't be in the top three for me, just because I think his production won't match the other guys like an Addison, who's coming in as the clear number two, really number three, because you could put Hawkinson as the number two pass catcher on a high volume passing offense. So I would take Addison one in terms of production, not talent. It's a different standpoint. So I take Addison one as the top producer of the rookie class. I'm taking Quentin Johnston at a close number two, just because I think he's going to get early opportunities. And then throughout the course of the season, I do think that, Keenan and Mike will miss some games and he'll really be able to bust out. And then for number three, you can really split it between, say, Flowers and JSN.
Yeah, I think I tend to agree, especially with JSN's wrist. But you can see he's
Injury.
already
He's
catching
practicing.
passes. I
He's
mean, he's already
practicing. I saw
practicing
that.
catching
I
passes,
couldn't
so
I couldn't believe that.
that doesn't even matter. So I'm like, damn, my boy JSN is
He's not
real
fucking around.
deal over here. He's
He's
not
not
fucking
fucking around.
around.
Nope.
So
Nope.
I don't know. It's tough between putting JSN and Quentin Johnson at two. I'm gonna go with Quentin Johnson just because I think Herbert is about to fucking go ham. Uh,
Even if he is the number three wide receiver, I think there's a world in which that still equates to good volume.
hmm right. Getting Cup all year. Yeah, I'm not touching Cup. Caddy said I can say for sure it's not me. It's for sure not me. It's all right if it was. My guy. Diaz said Jaden Reed. Bro, I've been saying he's fucking wide receiver one in Green Bay. He could be the wide receiver one in Green Bay.
Okay. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna make myself very clear. I
Let's
love
hear it,
all
Hammer.
I love all three of those guys, but I don't love
Hmm.
them individually. I keep
Okay.
saying it. I love them
Okay.
collectively. I don't think one guy is necessarily better than the other. I think they all have a certain role to fill, which I love. And I think Christian Watson has the most upside. I think Jaden Reed will probably be the more steady producer because he can work the middle of the field. He could those 3rd and mediums, 3rd and 5s, 3rd and 8s, he can convert those. But I just think Christian Watson on a game-to-game basis can bust out, and all he needs is one catch, one end around, as we've seen, one quick slant, and he could take it in. So Christian Watson, most upside. Jaden Reed, probably most consistent in terms of catches.
I like Jaden Reed. I really like Jaden Reed. Hopefully he can stay healthy. Hopefully Love does his thing somewhat.
You know what's crazy too? Christian Watson hit all 3 of them for a touchdown in this preseason. I fucking love that.
Oh, you mean Jordan Love hit all 3 of them? Yeah.
All 3 of them for a touchdown. I love that.
Use the response I gave my side chicks.
Which was what? Oh, I don't love you individually. That's probably one of the top comments.
That's a good one, bro. I love you. I love all of you. I just don't love you all individually.
I love you collectively. That's beautiful. That is beautiful, Mike.
Oh man. Shit. Oh man. Kyoko said, what are your thoughts on the Hawk extension, bro? It's my guy. Hawk's my guy. I mean, we saw last year he had, what was it, 60, 70 catches in like the 10, 11 games that he played or whatever it was. I mean, he's a guy that is going to be pushing 1K this year, I think. He's a guy that is the number 2 on that team, I think.
Clearly.
They've, gave him the money. He's obviously in the game plan. They've got what they want worked out already kind of with that offense as far as what they were doing last year with JJ and kind of Hawkinson. Now Addison comes in, takes a little bit of pressure off. He's going to do his thing too. So, listen, it's a team that's going to throw the ball a lot. We don't have a great defense. We're going to throw the ball a ton. Hawkinson's going to get plenty of opportunities. JJ is going to get plenty of opportunities. Addison's going to get his opportunities. And I think we're going to see them all kind of do their thing. Addison's going to be more kind of hit or miss. I think, some weeks he might go off. Some weeks he might be quiet. It depends. But Hawkinson's a staple. And from the moment he got traded to the Vikings,
felt like the perfect fit. Yeah.
Bro, I went to that first game. I was there at the Washington game when Hawkinson's first game, and I think he had 10 catches, or whatever it was that first game. And they just kept going to him on third down, just kept going to him. And from then on, I'm like, bro, Hawkinson is top 3 right now. Like, this dude is going to get some work. So Hawk is the reason I don't think JJ is 2K. I mean, I guess you can say that's fair, but I don't know if that's really stopping him. Like, JJ is like a floor almost, 15, 16 hundo, like floor. I mean, from 14 to 16 to 18. Listen, 2K is a lot. I'll admit. Obviously, 2K is a record. Never been done before, but it is a possibility. But
he wasn't that far off. I think we crunched the numbers in a previous episode on how realistic it is on a yards per game basis.
It is realistic, but at the same time, that is it is going to be tough. But I'm biased towards it, obviously, because I'm a Viking fan. So, but listen, Kirk could go for 5K, fucking 35 plus tutties. I mean, we could see a season. So now at Addison, I like Addison. I just don't think, and I like the addition of him. I just don't think he's taken necessarily targets away from there's still like 100 and something vacated targets. Subtract Kirk Cousins on prime time. Oh God, come on, Diaz.
See, Diaz really knows what he's talking about.
Go for the low blow.
That's why I like Diaz. He loves that low hanging fruit. He hangs on the rim.
Oh, Diaz always knows what he's talking about. I love it, but I don't know, dude. Whole prime time thing. I mean, our defense is trash. Hopefully, Kirk fucking does his thing. I gotta stick with my boy right now, man.
No choice at this point.
We got to. What happens after the season is going to be very interesting. What happens with Kirk Cousins?
Kyler Murray?
Possible. I'd be okay with Kyler Murray. You know, we've got some weapons for him. I don't know what we're doing at running back, but
He's essentially a de facto running back in a sense.
yeah,
He's
a
going to give
mad
you some of that.
monkey grabbing the low hammers. Yeah, man.
1 week, party people, 7 goddamn days. Oh man, it's a beautiful thing. So really
Yeah,
quick,
do you have any more redrafts coming up?
nope, just 2.
Year that you're in, or no?
Now we're done. We're done in redraft. I got so I got 2 people to come into the subscriber league. I had them subscribe and jump in, so that was good. So it filled up pretty quickly the last couple of days. So we really want to get those last 2 in and get this draft done.
I want to try and make it a fast one, so hopefully
Like
everybody
4 hours.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? 4 hours?
No, I'm talking about make it fast, like everybody's on. We got like,
Like
well,
redraft fast?
yeah, we might not have time. It depends. Depends how quick we can fill it up. Like that's really the biggest, Yeah, I agree, bro. I don't think he's playing for them this year either. That's something that
Yeah.
we've talked. Well, I've talked about at least before, where if they're tanking, obviously they're tanking. They're not going to play Kyler. They just got rid of everybody. They just got rid of Colt McCoy and said, "Fuck it." Like we're blatantly going to tank. What the fuck are you going to do about it?
They traded Isaiah Simmons for a 7th round pick.
Bro.
Like he's a Pro Bowl caliber linebacker for a 7th round pick. They just said,
Right.
Get out. Fire sale is on.
Yeah, I don't think he plays either this year. I agree with you, bro.
Crazy.
This is great for fantasy. Yeah, we've been saying he's kind of underrated a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Kyler gets hurt, activates the 90 million guaranteed. He's guaranteed for next year too. Yeah, man, it's.
So I heard somewhere that Kyler, like if they traded Kyler Murray, the dead money on Arizona's cap is like $86 million or some shit like that. Like it's crazy wild. But you could spread that out.
You know all that cap shit is all fake bullshit. Somehow they're gonna
I
figure out a way to fucking hide the money, or they might even fucking eat some. I mean, if they're not contending
Right.
anyway, like they might be
Right.
able to eat a ton, a lot of a portion of it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
That contract
Reese, what's up, Reese?
wild.
Appreciate you. Need Hammer's opinions on my team. I guess you don't want my opinion. No problem. Throw the team out there. Hammer, let them know.
That was good. Yo, this has been a fantastic show. I'm not gonna lie. This has been a fantastic show. This gets me excited. I love
Hammer
this,
doesn't, Reese doesn't like my opinions, so I must have said something he didn't like. Sorry, brother. 10 team cube, 10 team. Okay, 1 QB. I'm guessing Jalen Hurts, Jalen Waddle, Amari Cooper, Tony Pollard, Alexander Madison, Kyle Pitts, Fields, full PPR super. He might have asked this yesterday. I think maybe that's why he's saying, "I got your opinion." Yes, that was funny though. That was funny, Reese. Though. Now that I see the team, I'm like, oh yeah, you did get my opinion yesterday. So yeah, Hammer, let him know, bro.
Yeah, Superflex. This is a really good team.
No, not Superflex. It is Superflex. My bad. Yeah. Hurts and Fields. That's right. I remember this shit. Yep.
Okay, so and can I dive in, or are you gonna you got anything else you want to add?
You know what? No.
Yeah, listen.
Tell me the Vikings are going to win the division, and then go ahead and proceed.
The Packers are going to take it. 10-7 takes it for the Packers. But anyway, that's a story for another day. So looking at it, right, you got your Jalen Hurts and your Justin Fields. That's really awesome. Waddle, fantastic. Amari Cooper, I really do like Amari Cooper as the perfect wide receiver too. Even if you're in a 3 wide receiver, 2 flex kind of league, Amari Cooper at the wide receiver 2 position, I'm really excited about. The running backs make me a little nervous. Tony Pollard, I just don't think he's a high upside guy, but he's not going to get Zeke volume, right? I still think he's going to get 15 touches, 17 pushing it. He's going to make his explosive plays. I think he could re-injure himself if they try to push him to that 20-22 touch a game workload. So that Tony Pollard makes me nervous. I like Tony Pollard as more of a flex play, RB2 really play. And then Madison, you know, when he was spelling Dalvin, he was awesome. But once again, can these guys hold up under that full workload through an entire season? So that remains to be seen. But Kyle Pitts, really good as well. The one concern I do have, and we've touched on this plenty, is you have two running quarterbacks as your hammers, basically. So you have the rushing upside. Now that I'm looking into it a little bit deeper, you have the rushing upside with your quarterback. So I'm fine with the running backs you have there. But Jalen Hurts nor Justin Fields were available for last year's playoffs, and that's no coincidence. So that's the one thing. Like if you would have took Jalen Hurts and maybe a Kirk Cousins as your super flex, that would have felt a little bit safer. But you got a ton of upside here. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean that's what I basically was saying. He killed it at the quarterback position. So RB, it's like whatever.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have
I
good
agree.
guys there. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna make up for more than enough. And you got two guys that can possibly finish at wide receiver ones with Waddle and Cooper. A lot of people been off Cooper this year, and I'm not sure. I don't know why.
He had a career year
I
last year.
like
It's
I
under the
like
radar.
Cooper. Yeah, no, absolutely, and we're all expecting Watson to take a step up, right? I mean, who else is catching the ball there? So
One of your supernovas.
Elijah Moore, my guy. Riley, what up, Riley? 12 team PPR, Addison Kamara, 8 chain for Brees, Dillon, Sutton, and Chark. Addison Kamara, 8 chain for Brees, Dillon, Sutton, and Chark.
See, again, just really quick before we dive into it, this is, and if you haven't, Riley, if you haven't checked out our trade episode on how we evaluate trades, you know, how we look at trades, how we break them down, definitely check that out, because this is something that we generally, especially for me, I know Blanc to a little bit of a lesser degree, you want to stay away from having 7 players in a deal, right? Because then it's like, am I truly getting the best value? And I know, not too long ago, Derek was asking us about a trade. Who are you targeting, right? What player do you want? So you want to target that player, target that specific team, and then kind of, work the framework of a deal. Because when you start trading more than 4 total players in a deal, it starts to become very muddy in who's getting the best value. Are you winning that trade, right? That's the whole point of making a trade, is to win the trade, improve your team. When you're trading 7 guys, it's really hard to determine that.
Yeah. So we're doing Hammer.
I don't know. It, like I said, if Riley, if you're out there, just throw in the chat who you're targeting as your main addition. Even if it's 2 guys, even if it's Brees and Dillon, that's fine as well. But just have a specific target. So this way you can kind of isolate that player or 2.
Man, this is tough, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
I kind of want Brees, but at the same time, it's like Addison Kamara, A Chain. Like Wilson just got hurt, so A Chain might be a good addition, right? Kamara obviously suspended 3 games, but he'll be back. You've got Addison. You
And then
probably
on the
don't
other,
need Addison. You probably don't need Addison where you drafted him, or he's not in your starting lineup. You're not probably planning to play him regardless, right? So, are you just trying to get Brees and trade Kamara and A Chain basically for Brees? I mean, I think I want the
that's
Brees side because he's the best player in there, but I don't know if we need to do all these players involved in this. You know,
that's
we're trying to get Brees, but let's kind of mix it up and not do this kind of 3 for 4 or whatever it is. You know,
absolutely, that's one of my golden rules of trading.
autistic fantasy guru, his sidekick that eats crayons.
Wait a minute. I have to read that again. I'm like an autistic fantasy guru. I don't know if that's a good thing, or I don't know how to kind of take that. So Diaz, kind of throw out what you really meant there, and we'll have a side chat about that. I'll hit you in the DMs. Don't you worry about that.
Oh shit! All right. Riley gave us some of his bench here. Ayuk, Evans, White, Pacheco, Pickett, Laporta. Who should he trade
Okay.
to upgrade? Madison. Yeah, you've got plenty of guys on the bench to trade. I mean,
Ayuk for sure.
Ayuk and Evans, White. I mean, people will like White. People like Pacheco, so you can absolutely combine.
Mm-hmm.
Combine a Pacheco and Evans or an Ayuk and a White maybe.
Okay, and he has Kenny Pickett as his third quarterback. I don't mind that with Fields and Hurts. I don't mind that at all. That's a good value.
And can we get who we aiming for?
So he has Waddle and Cooper. I don't really think at this point you want to go out and buy a running back with the team that you currently have. I would kind of wait and see how the season plays out a little bit because you do have such a high upside team. So I'm not keen on going out and buying a running back right now.
Go get Gibbs. Give me Gibbs. Can I trade White and Evans or Pacheco? See what that team needs over there. Ayuk, if you have to. Like, can I get me a Gibbs on the squad? Also make an upgrade at wide receiver if you want to. So you've got plenty. Yeah, any of those guys on the bench, really, man. Any of those guys. To Taylor and Kamara. Oh, don't have an RB for week one. And Brees'
Ooh,
offer I got.
damn man.
Yeah, what do you mean
These
don't have an RB for? Oh, hold on. I'm looking at Reese's and not Riley's. Hold on. I got confused with it.
I thought that was Reese for a second because it both has R on it.
Yeah, and Brees is going to be brought back slow anyway, too. Like, I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be more of a second half guy to kind of bust out. I don't know so much early on. I'm not sure. So
Yeah, I tend to agree with that as well. And we've seen these running backs that the Jets bringing in Dalvin Cook tells you everything that you need to know on how they want to handle the Brees situation.
yeah, can I trade Kamara plus for Brees? That's really it. That's all it is. It's 2-for-1 kind of give Kamara and something else for Brees. If what other else you offer is a lot, then maybe ask for another thing back, and it's a little 2-for-2 kind of thing just to kind of make it even. But I kind of keep it to that.
For sure.
Right. So Ramon told me to shut the front door. Yeah, listen, I tell Hammer when he can talk. Okay. Adam, what up, brother? What you think of my squad? 12-team full PPR. Cousins, Richardson. Is this super flex?
Yeah,
Um,
that's a big deal.
Najee, Monty, Reese, Charbonnet, Bigsby, JJ Olave, Terry London, Nico Chig. Um, I like what you did there with the wide receivers. JJ Olave, you got McLaurin and London. You could probably get rid of Nico, but whatever. But you didn't like overload on like a bunch of wide receivers in the back end. You got a bunch of running backs instead, which I like. Um, yeah, I'll let you go first, Hammer. What do you think of this?
I've been saying that, man. Cousins, he probably got Cousins at such a good value. He was able to grab up Najee, Brees, JJ, Olave, McLaurin, London, and Kirk Cousins. Is the perfect fit for this team and you got the stack. So how can you go wrong with that? So I like it. If it's a super flex, Anthony Richardson does worry me a touch just because of the inaccuracy I talked about. No Jonathan Taylor is a big deal for a young rookie quarterback. So if it is a super flex, Anthony Richardson does scare me a little bit. I love me some Najee Harris this year. I think the Steelers, we've seen Kenny Pickett kind of take that step up. He kind of, he looked really good. Like he wasn't just dinking and dunking out there. He was flinging it around. So that's really good with Monty Hall, Charbonnet, and Bigsby. So the team is really solid. Maybe you can upgrade at tight end. That would kind of really be the only advice there. But the rest of the team is built fairly well.
I'm okay with Chig. If you're not going to get a top 3 guy, just play Chig and just play him all season. I mean, we've gone over this with the Warp stuff. Make sure you guys go check out that episode on Warp that
Okay.
we had with Scott Connor. It explains a lot about the tight end position. It explains a lot about roster construction, whether it's dynasty, redraft. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I like the squad. Najee, Monty, Hall, Charbonnet, Jay. Yeah, that's a good squad, bro. The Rain Man, bro.
That's a
Buy Zach
fantastic movie.
Moss.
If you haven't seen Rain Man, go see Rain
Place a
Man.
bet on one of the three for cheap or Hunt Fournette. Yeah, I agree. I think I picked up Fournette in one league. Somebody else picked up Hunt. I picked up Fournette just to have him.
I'm mad at that.
Well, he said he's got Algier as well. That's good. Well, I like the back. I like you have a bunch of backup running backs because those guys could mean something. You can plug them in your lineup when you need.
They're one play away.
Simp, what's up, Simp? 12-team PPR. Herbert, Bijan, Madison, James Cook, Monty, Elijah Mitchell, CeeDee Lamb, Waddle, Ridley, London, JSN, Quentin Johnson, Kincaid, Anthony Richardson, bench QBs. What are we rating the squad?
This is about an 8.5. 12-team PPR. You got Herbie. You got Bijan. That works. The RB2 situations, you could figure that out between Madison, Cook, Monty, Lamb, Waddle, Ridley. That's pretty damn good with London, JSN, and
Johnson. I'm gonna give it a 9. The only thing is just Kincaid. I think he does come along at the end of the year. I think I have him as like my 12th ranked tight end in redraft. But yeah, I mean, you got Herbert, who for me I think is going to have a huge year. You got Bijan, so you got the hero running back to kind of take you. You've got Madison, who's going to be good. James Cook is going to be good. Monty, I mean, Elijah Mitchell, any of those guys are fine. And then you've got, like Hammer says, CD, Waddle, Ridley, London. I mean, JSN. Yeah. I mean, if you would have had a top 3 tight end, shit, I might have gave you a 10 on this bitch.
I would agree.
That was good. This is a good squad, especially for a 12-team. I mean,
yeah, that's deep as fuck.
You're able to get Bijan and CeeDee Lamb and Waddle. I'm guessing you probably had a back end pick and you went like Bijan, CeeDee, and then went Waddle, Ridley,
and then flipped around and grabbed Herbert in the
or
fifth,
somewhere in between. Got Herbert. Maybe you got Herbert before London or something. I don't know.
It's a hell of a team.
Diaz said driving on a Haboob. Gotta go. Great show. Appreciate you coming out, Diaz.
Diaz, always a pleasure. Dropping bombs.
Oh, Adam said it was single QB. So
okay, so A Rich is on the bench for him.
Sim said correct. I got it right. How you liking Okonkwo this season? I mean, I like Okonkwo, but he's on not a great passing offense. They're not gonna probably score a ton of points. They're in one of the slowest offenses in the league too. Like
so,
that's another thing to think about too. But I mean, listen, he's just like any of those other guys after almost
the 3.
You could say probably type it. After the top 3 guys, like, there's not a huge difference. But you could probably say after like the top 8 guys, it's kind of like whatever. Who knows what's going to happen after that? So I'm okay with Okonkwo. If you punted tight end to go, heavy at the other positions, like I'm fine. Just play Okonkwo every week and don't think about it. Unless he's giving you jack shit, then maybe you got to pick somebody up for waivers. But I think like a Higbee is a really late tight end that you can kind of get that most people are not drafting. Ferguson's another one from Dallas that people are just kind of falling back on, possibly on waivers. Who knows?
Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz is another good one as well. So typically I like to say just carry one tight end and just play them. But in this particular case, we don't know what's going to happen with Okonkwo. So we hope for the best, but maybe it doesn't give you anything. Maybe you do pick up another guy, whatever. But I'd start Okonkwo because I'm sure the rest of your team is solid, being that you did that. So that's fine, man. You got any thoughts on Okonkwo, Hammer?
Not really. Like you said, you pretty much said everything, especially in that Tennessee offense. It's Derrick Henry. It's maybe a little Treylon Burks action, and not really much else. You got to hope he gives you 5 touchdowns to feel like you're getting some value there. So it's going to be really tough, but hey, you never know. Ryan Tannehill is a veteran professional quarterback, so it's not. I don't think it's a total bust per se. So yeah, so roll him out there the first like 2 or 3 weeks, see what he gives you, and then kind of evaluate it from there.
Yeah, definitely. Tomorrow night, I'm not sure if I'll be on tomorrow night. I got some shit to do. If I do get on tomorrow night, it'll probably be like really late, like 11:30 type Eastern time on our time. Probably like now. If I get on tomorrow for a little bit. Otherwise, Saturday I'll be on. I got a draft on Saturday, a redraft at 9:30, so I'll be streaming that. Hammer, if you want to hop on, hang out, even though you're not in the draft. And if we could fill up this, other league, we need 2 more for the Dynasty League. Start 10 Superflex. If anybody's interested, let me know. We need 2 more for this league. If we could get everybody in and paid, like I don't even mind just doing the draft Saturday night or something live. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I would love that.
We'll be on Sunday. I'm gonna try and be on every day until the season starts. I might even be on every day once the season starts. Who knows? But yeah, appreciate all y'all. Make sure y'all smash that like, smash that subscribe if you're new. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the show. We sure did.
Hell of a show. This was fun.
No, he's a good taxi player. Don't drop him. All it takes is one injury in that Chiefs backfield, and Prince is right in there. So yeah, don't drop him. Keep him on your taxi. Any running back that's on a roster, just hold on the taxi. I mean, even some guys that are on practice squads, like if you've got the room, just throw them on the taxi.
Hell yeah.
SXP, appreciate you, man. Great show. Looking forward to the next live Q&A. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to try and get on tomorrow, but I do got something to do, and then I'll probably be on like every night, at least, for a few. Maybe not as long as like 2 hours, like we typically do. But, yeah, just make sure you guys smash that noti button and just come through. But, yeah, guys, appreciate y'all. We out. Hammer, you got any last things to say?
7 days, baby. 7 days. Hold on.
Right, we're getting close now. We're getting close. My skin, the hairs on my arms are like standing up and shit now.
Such a fucking idiot. Oh, really quick before we hop off, something really funny. So, my wife was on Instagram. Actually, I'm an idiot because I sent it to her. I've been seeing these things where these guys on Instagram are giving their wife football contracts for the season because the season started.
Yeah. I've seen them shits too. I've seen a bunch of them little football contracts.
So we actually went out for a quick dinner, and she had some margaritas, and the whole ride home, she's like, "Babe, I want my football contract. I want my football contract. I want my football contract." I'm like, you know what? I'm going to type it up. I'm actually going to type it up and share it with you guys. So stay tuned for that.
That'll be great. All right, guys, we out of here. Appreciate y'all as always. SXP, Adam, Simp, One Nation, Diaz, Riley, Reese. Trying to see if I could get everybody here. Crispy, Derek, Kayoko, Caddy, Crispy, Enrique. We had Catch stop by. Appreciate you.
Caleb was in there.
Appreciate you. Connie. Derek, Marty, Jackson has been a while. Appreciate you for coming out. Element,
damn good show.
Appreciate you for tuning in. Elias, he's always coming in as well. And I think I hit everybody. If I missed you, I'm sorry, but appreciate all y'all. Kevin, of course. Kevin is always one of the first ones in here. Gotta throw Kevin out there. Gotta give a special shout out to Kevin. He's usually only the first one in here, always waiting. So appreciate you guys.
Dedicated.
As always. But all right, we out now.